Of course, the blue side.
They want the red side team to get as many OP picks as possible and have counter pick. That's a limit test, okay? Because before Gen.G's strategy, we already sussed it out, was just to play the most optimal, efficient, boring, hiding strategy style. Now they're like, nah, you can have the OPs. We're just going to see if we could beat them. We're joking about this, obviously, but it feels like that's the best way to utilize this final week, especially in a match like this. A lot of pride on the line against your biggest rival, T1, on Saturday. And a lot of stakes for that match, whereas this match holds very little. Yunara, Azir,
Pantheon.
Yeah.
You're not giving Pantheon to Canyon.
And
I swear. You're not doing it, okay?
Peter's not going to get his Nico. I mentioned that pick. Maybe somebody gets his hands on. He's not going to have that. BDD's not going to get his Annie. So,
BDD
Pantheon.
just typed in Pantheon real quick.
I'm trying to think of what else you would want to ban in this situation. You could ban Wukong, I suppose. But instead, Canyon will probably first pick it. And we'll move on. Varus is available, but not the same prio with the nerfs as he used to be. So, guess what? There's a monkey in the slot. Yeah. Who could have guessed?
So the Rumble seems like a very obvious pick for Perfect. Extreme Comfort and the best top laner in the current patch. Seems like a lock. Going to be going for BDD's Rise as well.
Yeah, interesting with the Rumble in the top lane to play this. Have not seen this very much. This duo prioritized like this, just because it's not a lot of side lane pressure necessarily. The Aurora, likely to be piloted by Keen in this draft, is going to be the counter pick for this Rumble. They're not going to try to run Gwen into this. Keen has lost this matchup to Rumble on Gwen and then carried the game later anyways. There's the Orianna, which has been a very common response to the Rise. Great with Wukong. Pretty solid setup here. Like, I want to see the answer here from KT Rolster, and it feels like it's just a Sivir deterrent as a response. Rather see the Trundle, to be honest. A lot of power in this pick right now.
Yeah, feels good into the Wukong. And, can set up a lot of plays with the Rumble, especially even the Rise. So, going to be the top side here for the side of KT as we will move down to the bottom side of the map, as is customary.
Yes, this is the way we do it now. Corki, I think, deserves a look. Follows up incredibly well on Gen.G's comp, and Ruler has absolutely dominated on the pick. Now, they can pick it away on red side here first if they want. It's a risky ask. There's no Nico this time for Duro, so it's not going to be a Corki Nico lane, which Gen.G has surprisingly gotten their hands on recently more times than I think they ever should. See what the ban is going to be in response here to this Recon. They'll ban the Corki themselves.
Corki's really good. I like the respect that he's getting. It just feels great into their engage as well that they have on the side of Gen.G. Can Valkyrie out of a whole slew of things that they already have. Not to mention probably the engage support that will eventually follow.
Something like a Rel does feel pretty good actually with KT Rolster's composition, because you don't have hard engage right now to set up your equalizers. You have Pillar for zoning, you have Rise roots, but that sort of ability to actually turn and re-engage after Gen.G go in with their combo would be very strong for their comp, I think. But
as long as they don't pick it here.
Yeah, I think
okay
so.
With
yeah, because if you pick it here, then you're opting to just lose to a Bard lane, or even like Lucian Braum, which Gen.G could absolutely pick. They'll take the Bard themselves. There you go.
We're learning.
Improvements. Peter, I think I want to say I pulled this stat out when I was casting with you that Peter has never played Bard before. I think this might be his first career Bard game. So we talked about, oh, it's an issue, he can't play it. Now he's playing it for the first time.
Has an interview
on it.
Has an interview on the space. Picks Bard his next game. Coincidence?
Yeah, I think not. Pike?
Wait.
I think yes.
Pike. Okay.
So what are we doing? What are we doing with this? Pike Lucian?
Yeah, I mean, Duro
Pike
played
Caitlyn?
this before. It's good into Bard.
It is good into Bard. You can still run Jhin with this. It's a little bit awkward in the lane, but it can be quite powerful if you can get the right setup. But it's a lot of risk into whatever Duck Dime ends up picking up here. Be potentially a problem. They don't have the Corki, they don't have the Sivir. Ezreal has a lot of outplay potential. Obviously can just avoid the Pike pulls. And if any roots come down, or stuns come down from Peter, then you do a ton of damage, right? You can obviously outplay a lot of what Jin can offer with Ezreal in general. But it's still Jin, okay? He's still going to hit you with the 4-shot. He's going to push those waves with the Pike. They're going to look for aggressive plays constantly. Without a strong pre-6 jungler, though, to follow up, I think they should be fine down there in the bottom lane. My biggest concern is that this comp for KT has basically no engage still. Bard can maybe set up an equalizer. You know, there's some Realm Warp potential. There's a lot of maneuverability because they have Magical Journey.
Throw a pillar out there, you know, maybe try to set up some poke, but...
Whereas Gen.G, they come at you hard, they come at you fast. They will get on top of you. They will get on top of even the mobile Ezreal. And if you're not ready for those fights, if your Tempered Fates are not perfect, then you are just going to get destroyed against this team.
Yeah. That's why the Bard feels so good. If utilized correctly, they can kite back amazingly. You know, throw down a Tempered Fate on the engage on the Wukong. You know, stop the Shockwave from doing a lot of damage, which means that Peter's job is just going to be even that much more important on probably his first game of Bard ever. So we'll have to wait and see how it looks here in game number 1 of Gen.G up against KT. Let's hop onto the Rift in just a moment. Looks like we're ready to go, guys, right now for game 1. Sounded like Rumble was trying to get into the fan chant there. Not sure what he was doing, interrupting the fans.
I have once again, myself, verified that this is Peter's first Bard game professionally ever, across Challengers and LCK. He has never played the pick until now. And he has been one of the better performing players for KT, one of the more consistent performing players throughout the entirety of the year. Obviously, BDD Cuz kind of put them in a different box. I mean, of perfect Duck Dom and Peter. Now, Duck Dom has really turned it on at the end of this season, but I think even before that, Peter was really showcasing quite strong performances, which is part of why they were leading that race into D+. When we ended up getting to that final match, the tiebreaker came through. They got into the Legend group. See how this 2v2 does eventuate here, as Jin still hits hard, even though you do have a range disadvantage here in the support matchup. And Ruler and Duro have been known to win matchups that you don't on paper win.
Yeah, they're just really good. I mean, there's a lot of times where they will make the lane theirs, as that was pretty close, but no cigar this time around. And of course, level 2 will be hit here first by Duck Dom and Peter Peter actually already has it. So feeling pretty good about the way the lane is going.
And the Pike gets a little bit more powerful after level 2, but not when you don't have control of the lane. And Pike pick works a lot better when you are counter-picking it on R5 because of this. It allows you to have a matchup where you can completely push lanes in and threaten. But if you're kind of hunkering down and trying to hit 3, you can get a little bit trickier. Once you have 3, you can do a little bit with this. As you can see, Ando was the last to play this. Kind of shocking, actually, that we haven't seen this in this long. Perhaps it was played in LCK Cup. But it's a pick that we see actually quite a bit in the LCK. As a niche pick, not like a staple, but it's not that rare, as even a player like Ando will pull it out.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, the Blitzcrank and a Bard as well. It just feels like these hook champions... Bard is very annoying to lock down, but if you can pull him at the right time, you certainly can make him a lot less effective.
Before they hit level 3, Peter just wants to harass here and get as much damage done as possible, but you can see this is really tough for Duro and Ruler, offering some damage back onto Peter, but there's a lot of sustain in this lane. If he can hit level 3 and then use his, you know, underwater, I don't know what it's called, he's going to kind of pike his way around and maybe find an angle.
That's what it's called, piking around.
He just pikes around.
Yeah.
Then maybe there's a way in, but Peter and Duckdom utilizing this control before he hits level 3. Nice cannon secure. I love that we're zooming in on this matchup because the other matchups have been seen so much. This is kind of a more rare one down here to take a look at. BDD winning the mid lane at the moment. Top lane relatively even in terms of where they are standing in the lane, but you can see a lot of CS has gone the wayside for Perfect in a matchup that's quite difficult for the Rumble.
Yeah. Peter comes up, gives a little, looks like a compass over to BDD. Some health, regardless. And Perfect, at least, is fighting back a bit here. He's able to push the lane out just a little bit.
Keen's kind of like with Keen, the OG Aurora top, so knows a lot of these matchups. I mean, this is a matchup where when Aurora was released, like Rumble was insanely strong, and so we saw this matchup quite a bit, specifically when Aurora was being played top. Keen's going to swap out of it as Jin comes up here top side. It's really not Keen swapping out, it's Ruler and Duro swapping out. And so Keen will swap in, so to speak, in the bottom lane.
Yeah. We'll see how KT want to respond to this. I do think this is the correct decision. That ward there just to deny Perfect from getting a good timing on his back. You know, obviously this can be hit, and for Jin, you can attack from very far away, so it allows you to stop the backs. So he has to go very far away from the ward and not actually kill it just yet. Is going to TP back up here, so we're going to remain in this lane matchup.
Perfect is very far away from level 6, so kind of unfortunate. It's getting denied some farm here. Ruler will eventually go for that ricochet and start pushing it in. If he has level 6, obviously that's going to be his best deterrent for dives, but it's Wukong. So I think you could stay here in this jungle matchup. A lot of other jungle matchups, you're like, ooh, they're diving me 100%. And they're just going to crash this in, and I'm not going to have level 6, but Perfect should be fine here for the time being. BDD really putting the pressure on Chovy in the mid lane, as you really, as the Orianna, you know, you often do end up getting a big advantage. Not in this case. Keen.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage, not actually going to take the Q, and Duckdom did take a turret shot. Perfect's doing a better job of surviving, per se.
So far.
But he's also not farming at all because the lane's pushing away from him. So you've got Canyon up here, and there's a Canyon growing between our top laners because Perfect doesn't really get to play the game. Looking for a hook here, as that's going to be the stun down on a Perfect. He's just going to flash it. He says, no, I can't. And he's just desperate for level 6, but he's so far away from it.
Yeah, he needs the XP here. I mean, he needs money and XP, but right now XP is going to give him 6 at least.
Uh-oh, he got hit by that. That is a big problem, as now in a lot of trouble. Perfect just burning. He's just trying to avoid everything. We already have traps set up here, as one more shot could do it, as the grenade will do it, and Ruler will pick up first blood, as Perfect, unfortunately, desperate for XP, steps too close to the pike.
Great freeze there from the Gen.G duo. Will be able to deny him so much farm. The matchup that was already tough, they escape the Ezreal Bard lane and then come up and just remove Perfect from the game, essentially. He does not have teleport, and he's going to lose another full wave on the turret as he tries to scrap shield his way back to the lane. No boots either, just running as quickly as that mech will take him. You see that Chovy and BDD here dead even in the CS race for now, but BDD should pull ahead with these last few minions going over.
Is Duro going to catch up in CS to Perfect? That's the question.
We're very close. And, you know, flashless here. Perfect really just wanted to get some XP, but I think you gotta just let that go.
That feels like perhaps a lack of experience against Pike. You know, because that was like a max range Q, right? But he walked right into range of it, and potentially just didn't expect it to be that long.
I mean, he's a top laner, right? And you probably don't scrim against that many lane swapping Pikes as the Rumble, you know? Yeah. And I do think that's a pretty good read from you as to what could have happened. But Cuz also just not really giving any resources over to help bail him out of that situation either. It means he's just on an island.
Oh, they did not expect this, as Canyon was hiding for so long and Cuz was nearby. But he avoided the scan in the bush, and he was able to get the perfect engage off, and BDD even flashing. Chovy didn't even have to flash, neither did Canyon.
Yeah.
And they got the kill.
Well, I was going to say, I think they expected it, but then they stopped expecting it, you know, and then that's when he gets you. Like, oh, surely he would have gone in by now. True Shot Barrage here, not going to steal any of these grubs away. KT were able to secure the first dragon 2.5 minutes ago, so at least they got that
Yeah.
was secure. That's part of why Perfect was left on that island there on the top side. Speaking of Perfect...
Oh boy, he's piking around.
He's piking around!
He's piking around, he's getting in range. Perfect does not have his flash available. The sun comes down. The question is, do they have the damage? They do not. Keen does not opt to go for his own ult there. There were no summoners, no equalizer either, and I thought they could just kill him, but...
He just got lucidity boots, so doesn't have that much damage yet. Like, look at this. Cuz is about to come in and check. That control ward is so much value for Cannon. He's able to identify 100% they don't know that he's there, even though they're suspecting it.
All right, Chovy. That's how you can utilize the pillar with the Bard. So that's cool. We got a little example of that. Not sure how much more we're going to get from that, though, that combo.
Quite a niche situation there, but it does force Chovy to flash. So, successful gank. But it's not going to clean away the 1,000 gold deficit just yet. And a lot of this, the highest deficit, is in the top lane. At nearly 500 gold, Perfect finds himself behind 25 CS, nearly. And this is a hole that needs to be patched as quickly as possible. They went for Chovy instead. This Rumble is less than useless right now in this game. I mean, look at his items. Sure, it's not that different from what Keen has, but Keen's a lot more self-sufficient on this Aurora and hold his own. Whereas Perfect just needs Equalizer every time a dive potentially comes through. Doesn't have his flashback. Is going to equalize now.
Oh boy. Well,
what?
Will be denied.
Yeah, I guess that prevents him from taking Perfect out there, but he could have also just body blocked. I guess he's fairly low himself. Yeah, I don't...
Yeah, Perfect was back.
Yeah, you know what?
You know, it's fine.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at it again, you know, we kind of jumped into that one last minute. It looked a little bit worse than it was, but it actually wasn't that bad. Peter, let's save his top laner there. Well, that's a big ultimate down. That's 2 big ultimates down in trade for, yes, Ruler lost his, but worth. You're definitely feeling worth when you deny another wave. Dogtom doesn't have True Shot Barrage. He's like running as fast as he can to get down there. No boots. He already eat. He's trying to get minions. There's just so much gold going to the wayside here in this game.
Oh, piking around, and we got a Wukong around as well, spinning around right on top of them with a shockwave as well. Cuz with the subjugation still not going to survive. Duro kind of gets that ult off at the very end and gets that bonus gold. And man, Gen.G already nearly 3,000 gold ahead 11 minutes in. Is this just going to be like a repeat of the first series we had today, Wolf?
It starts to feel like it may be. At least KT got an objective. As they are trying to deny one at the same time, speaking of objectives, but there's just not enough KT here. There's too much Gen.G.
They absolutely cannot. He has to flash away. As they were just hanging around in the river, maybe trying to deny the dragon, but I mean, that was not going to happen unless he steals it.
Oh, so close. Good reaction from Canyon there. Actually had smote already. So that's a little bit more luck than reaction there, but it looked really cool.
X-Tech.
Hey, but at least KT got a dragon.
They did, yeah. It's not double dragon. Uh-oh. Oh, that was very close. Duckdom would have been in a lot of trouble. As now, trading back here decently. The Tempered Fate does come in. Only hits the pike, though. As Grenade does go forward. 4th shot into Peter. As Ruler going to open up now. There's not really much that Peter and his friend can do here. Just going to have to Magical Journey away. As the Tempered Fate had already been used.
Yeah, not much they could do there. I don't think they can all in on Ruler in that moment either. As Ezreal at this point in the game, when the ult hits only Duro. Duckdom now down his flash. This is a bit of a rough one here. Is in this scenario, you know, it's just the combo, right? Like, very simple. And it's not even like Canyon went in to carry the ball. Chovy just like, well, I guess this is an angle. I'm going to press R. And drops the ball on top of the fight. Canyon gives the funny Yumi, because that's the state of the game. As they just find some KT players and then kill them.
Yeah. Canyon, in his long career, is finally beginning to use a bunch of emotes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but it's the thumbs up are coming up. He's going the direction of Peanut, you know, which is good. I would like if our players used more funny emotes and made comments on the game in their own way.
That's where you get the coaching from the general manager, you know? That's when the general manager's like, hey, can you like showcase some more personality in the game? Come on, Canyon. You don't always just have to win the world championships and LCK titles to show everyone how cool you are. How about pressing T sometimes?
I think it's very fun. Oh, hooked over the wall. Magical Journey also over the wall, just in the other direction. Big banana brush control being taken here. There's no objective at the moment. They just want to take over the blue buff jungle of Cuz, and they will be successful at doing that. The spike comes down. As Perfect is down 2 levels to Chovy, who really wanted to go for that kill, but probably smartly does not. As Temper Fade going to come out, but the hook's still going to go off for the 4th shot. Gets it done. Peter is dead in his first game of Bard.
That looked really funny. It almost looked like Ruler Gale forced him for a second there, and I got PTSD, I had flashbacks.
Oh boy.
Duckdom, I'm going to miss that Q, as Ruler is also going to flash that emote there, knowing that things could have gone a little bit differently if Duckdom had flash and that Q connected. Going back to this play, like they knew Gen.G were there pushing the blue buff away. Cuz is aware of it. It's just a root here, a pull. And Ruler is just happy to take more money. He does not lose in the mid, 1v1/2v2. When he moves out of the bottom lane, it feels like this season. Whatever he's accelerated on, he will just push you out and kill you.
There's so many pings up here in the top lane. Chovy has checked 3 of the brushes. Will he check number 4? Yes, he will, but it might not matter as the root comes down. There's 4 people here. Shockwave used. He will flash away, but the pillar saved, and the chomp does come in.
BDD would have loved to have that gold. Still decent on a Trundle there. Chovy does get got. He did his due diligence, but he didn't realize they were alcove gamers all along.
He could have sent that ball over the wall. The ball over the wall! Ball over the wall! Wow, okay, that was pretty cool. Pyke also very good at, roaming around, piking around in his case, just like the Bard, so having a big map impact already is Duro.
Yeah, he's really quite mobile on this pick and is constantly fishing for these angles. Has his Umbral Glaive completed, so if you look at the map, there's not a whole lot KT can see right now that Gen.G can't, and there's going to be even less with a Pyke roaming around the jungle, being very annoying. Pizza Strength picked up, if you didn't catch it, and then like what the feats of strength are. We're still explaining that. Probably by maybe next year we won't do it anymore, but it is good to know. We also still explain what the dragons are. Like, people got to learn. Chovy here trying to check every possible angle because we saw the vision there, and if you were watching the vision toggle that the observers had, it's like there's not anybody showing on KT. And look at the map. They're like, okay, there's like we have the whole map on vision, and I don't see anybody, so they've got to be ganking Chovy. But Chovy's like, I checked, still got him. Small victories here for KT. Only a 4,000 gold deficit. Anything is possible.
He like double, triple, quadruple checked too. Like he really should have gotten the ball over the wall though. That would have been the final check that actually saved him.
That's I mean, in the comms, if you look back, sadly we didn't have that for Chovy. I'm pretty sure he said, I should have checked the ball over the wall.
It's Chronicler now on stage. He's taking over Chovy's spot.
I can't do it like he can. Nobody can.
I can get pretty close, actually.
Yeah, why didn't
I'm pretty good at it.
Why didn't you though?
I mean, I have before. I just don't want to, don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, you think we have a long series ahead of us here?
Yeah, there's a lot of time left in this, so I don't want to annoy people too early. It's only the end of game 1. Which is definitely going to go 3 games for sure. Does KT come back on blue side? Surely.
I mean, looking at it, it's hard. It's hard to explain this game in terms of like what KT can do. What they can do is deny a charge. It's
a big shockwave. They just ran over that ball. Keen has taken so much damage for seemingly no reason. We also did have a fight in mid as a kill went down onto Duckdom. Peter also died down there. And Ruler's really enjoying his life right now.
BDD did get a bountied up turret on the top side. I was going to say that's nice. There's 2 things they can do. They can deny the charge of the Herald with Tempered Fate. They don't have Tempered Fate anymore, but they can deny the charge, and then BDD can get bounty gold. Duckers.
There's no way he eat forward there.
Duckers.
Ducky. Oh, the predicts! That was crazy.
That was actually insane. Canyon angles this away from the husk of the turret so that the Herald can still sit here and hit. Like, he's Herald maxing. Keen, I don't know.
How did Peter die?
Yeah,
what is he even?
I was just watching Keen. Hold on. Anyway, this was a Herald maxer.
He calls it. He's like, all right, I'm gonna like do a little wraparound because of the Bard ult.
Let's watch Bard. Shockwave. Aw.
So I saw all the damage that Chovy did, but I guess maybe he like pulled the ball back at the very end and died to the torch.
Maybe.
But it looked like he had enough health to live, but either way, he did not, as we saw.
KT can't see a whole lot. We didn't see what happened there, so we're just kind of vicariously living through them in this case.
Yeah.
I'm sure Peter knows how he died, although he probably doesn't want to. Second death of the game has not made the impact on this Bard for this comp that I think they were looking for. As Equalizer here to maybe set up for a potential flank, but Gen.G just bail out of the situation. They're not going to stay, they're not going to overstay their welcome, and just sieging really well, which has given BD a lot of opportunities to sit in the side lane by himself. He has a gold lead, he has a farm lead over Chovy, and is trying to set up some turret pickups here. Like, he was able to get that top bounty. Bounty's since fallen off, doesn't have an opportunity to get at their bottom side, but he's getting some farm. He's looking for his second item, which will make him survive a little bit longer in potential team fights that could occur, where KT gets to take a 5v5 where they're not have like their legs tied together and their hands tied behind their backs.
Yeah.
With their blindfolded, which is kind of how they have to play this game right now.
There is a weight tied around their ankles, you know, it's pretty rough. It's rough going for them. We're just going to start off the Otacon.
Because why not? Because you have a Wukong with Flash, Aurora with ult, everybody's here, and KT are just trying to leapfrog Vision forward. That one ward, that's all they got. That's all they got.
Yeah, the hook is going to sail wide. Keen really trying to get the angle on his ult here. Let's see the turn. The Temper Fate just totally sailing wide onto Keen, and it was only Keen. Hook comes forward. That's onto the jungler. They're trying to take out Cuz.
Unsuccessful, though.
The damage is going to stop, though, on the... Oh, they're just going to go and chomp it and steal it away, as now Gen.G, they want to go for the follow-up fight here, but Cuz is seemingly incapable of dying, as now Chovy's going to go down. Ruler as well. And KT, a big fight here on the comeback.
Realm Warp for the chase, as BDD does not have Flash, gets the heal. Equalizer miss.
Ooh. All right, they're really desperate to get more. They really want to cash in on this fight, but they're not going to be able to do quite as much as they would like.
Still, Flash steal play from Cuz is massive. They win the fight. And now suddenly a 4,000 gold gets cut in half, down to 2,000. KT rolls for some signs of life here. And it all starts with Peter putting that T1 logo on the ground with the Bard ult, reminding Gen.G that they 2-0'd T1 last week. And I think that was the winning play. Peter can do no wrong, man.
Absolutely.
He put the fear in them.
They're still hiding in the jungle. Canyon did not expect that, as he is burning down quite a bit, but he's actually going to get away, I believe. Peter pretty fast.
Cuz with the Hex Gate.
How far can he run? This is insane. Disengage cone, but the subjugate thankfully gonna take him down. As meanwhile, okay, Duro just gonna put an end to that noise and take out Peter.
Yeah, they, I don't think, can take this turret. It's so low health. Keen's gonna TP bottom, as the dragon has spawned, or at least is about to spawn. Watch this fight again. Look, Peter.
T1 logo.
Puts the T1 logo on the ground, and that's where it all starts, right? Cuz is pulled into range of this objective as Gen.G kite away. The Equalizer actually ends up getting a decent amount of value later on, but the Flash Smite here is what gets them into this, gets them the objective, as we do have that Dragon Main taken alive. I thought we had a fight, so that freaked me out, but the later fight here as well, Realm Warp was there for the chase. The Equalizer not able to take out Canyon. He goes down a million years later with the Hex Gate chase, but so that flash play from Cuz there. Gen.G also a little bit indecisive with how they were staying on that Otacon, then kiting away, but not actually looking for a turn. And a lot of the combo used on the jungler who doesn't die. You know, the Orianna ult there, not able to take him out. As we move into this setup here now, on the top side of the map, just shadowing for this Ryze side lane. Gen.G need to be careful because they had full vision over the map, and I think some of the plays we saw, like Canyon walking forward in division there, are a result of them kind of forgetting that they can't see everything anymore. You can still see a lot, but not everything.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time Gen.G kind of just assume they're gonna find a way to win the fights, and they're right most of the time, but definitely have to cross your T's, dot your I's, and your lowercase g's, as you would say, Wolf.
Yeah, I do often say that.
Maybe that's the one they forgot, you know? They did the others, but then all of a sudden we had that Otacon fight, and all of a sudden it's like, we forgot the lowercase j's. Never forget the lowercase j's.
I just think that it wasn't a bad fight opportunity for Gen.G, and it wasn't a bad Otacon take. It was just the execution was a little bit off and a little bit indecisive. Perfect will be able to complete this TP. And even though that looked kind of silly when you watch it from just the Aurora versus him perspective, there was a big collapse of both Canyon and Duro there. He was able to realize he was being collapsed on. Chovy is Sim situation.
T1 logo on the ground.
Chovy hates when people put that logo up around him. That's his rivals.
It was a taunt. He didn't actually want to hit Chovy with it.
Just making another statement. Peter is scaring him.
Peter would do that.
This is kind of, you know, one of those moments where, just like the Chovy pick on the top lane before, where Gen.G like I know you're hiding somewhere.
Ooh, very close to catching him against that wall with the pillar, but just barely enough room to slide by.
Flashless on this Jhin would have been a huge opportunity there, but just slightly off. And they do escape that big group up from KT that they were able to realize was happening. And now Gen.G are going to get vision around this Baron. This is pretty massive. KT committing so heavily there for their pick on Ruler. Fail and then reset. And now Gen.G are like, I'm deep in your jungle again. We go again. Still up 2,000 gold.
Yeah, they are so set up here. Like, they cleared out all the vision. Canyon cleared the top vision above the pit, and Sturo cleared the bot vision.
Look at the amount of farm that BD has still been able to accrue here. He's about to get death cap, and if they just let this turret go but don't take a bad fight and then BDD gets death cap, I mean, he's starting to become a big threat in this game damage-wise. I kind of agree with this decision for KT. Don't like how they just gave up the control for free, but after that happened, the fact that BDD has TP here means he can, you know, continue to push like this, and had they started Baron, he could be there in a moment's notice and look to fight. And I don't know how close he is to completing that death cap, but he's got to be relatively close here. Maybe they'll give him that gold on blue buff and that'll be enough. I mean, if you look at his items versus Chovy's, who picks up that Verdant Barrier, he's 800 gold up, so getting close to being enough to actually complete that, you have to imagine. And if they can just buy time for that to happen before they take the next objective fight, that'll be massive. He's going to head back down and clear that bottom wave. And he's got to be getting so close. I still think there's an angle here where Gen.G have another shaky fight like what we saw on the Otacon. KT could come back and take this game. I mean, there's so much standing gold on the map as well. That outer in mid is still up. BD's backing. Death cap in hand, question mark? Yes.
Yep. Yeah, he got it. And now I think KT will begin to posture forward, and they have to. I mean, we have Hextech Drake, Hextech Soul Point already acquired for Gen.G, so you absolutely have to position for this fight that is bound to break out here in just a moment. The Baron, not even a big consideration. Like, Gen.G could try to go for it, but they don't have a huge amount of Baron damage.
If the fight looks bad for them, or if KT baits out like Canyon's ult, I think they will be happy to just say, well, we have 3 Drakes, you have 1, we'll trade. But until then, they are looking for the big prize here. The Hextech Soul basically seals the deal for them in this game.
Yeah.
Bit of a zoom out here.
Trying to do the blue buff with 18 seconds left until this Drake is spawning.
Yeah, needs to join up, but
he's going to get the buff for the whole team at least right before the fight begins, so
it's pretty big.
There is that.
Keen on the flank.
Oh, they're just going to come in and wrestle control of this banana brush. And so KT just immediately have to back away, and that's going to give potential flank angles to Keen.
I think KT should slow play this. Just play around the Tempered Fate defensively. Make Gen.G come to you. Maybe set up for the equalizer combo. I mean, the angles here are so good for Perfect, but he's waiting. He's so patient with this.
Yeah. So what KT's comp does very well is accept the pressure and back away. But they haven't been able to set up an objective and actually fight like that so far. So
Yeah,
this will be their opportunity.
Playing around this Ryze side lane is so good. Here comes the engage from Gen.G.
All right, Equalizer comes down. Chovi's just incredibly low already, as now Keen has to flash away, but they just gave up the Hextech Soul, cuz not even able to get in there. The Shockwave for the disengage, and they get out. Gen.G got away with murder there, essentially, as now the exhaust comes down on the Canyon. He is going to decoy away. As Gen.G, now they're the ones that can kite because they have Hextech Soul.
Exactly. I think that's why they went back in there for a potential Cyclone engage. Canyon's like, look, this is really no loss to us. There's no inherent risk. If they mess this up, we chase them down. We have those slows. He does not end up committing his Cyclone there. They get away. They can kite back, as you said. If that's a Dragon Secure for KT, it's a massive win. But they come up empty-handed. And now you could almost argue Gen.G with these resets for the Soul Laners can just head straight to Baron. They are going to reset now. They're non-teleport champions, so it looks like we're not going to be starting that up just yet, as Peter does have some friends nearby.
He's taking a lot of free damage. He is going to back out as we take another look at the fight here.
I want to see exactly how Chovy, I mean, he takes a ton of damage early here in this fight. The Hextech Drake doing a lot of work to everybody, and then the Equalizer looks to try to kill Chovy. BDD comes in with his Blast Cone, but they just missed the opportunity to take the fight. And then the disengaged Shockwave here from Chovy, and the fact that they have the Hextech Soul is just so valuable. There's just really no play for KT to make after that. But, I mean, look, they got a bunch of side laning done, like BDD got that turret, so may have a fight here.
Oh,
Keen.
yeah, Ducktop and Cuz a little bit caught out. Keen gonna go golden with the Bard. Tempered Fate there. So he gets out. Just a bit of poke, and already the Hextech Soul is bearing its fangs. I think we're beginning to see the strength of this.
With no Equalizer here and no Tempered Fate, Gen.G have ult advantage. They still have Flash, Cyclone, Hextech Soul, and they have vision control of the outer rim of this pit. And I just don't see KT being able to get in here for a contest, cuz with no Flash, there is just no way.
BDD's level 18 at least. We'll see if that's enough, as Gen.G will slightly pull off of the Baron. Not gonna take any damage from that, and looks like it might just come down to a flip as Cuz is gonna get in the pit and he snipes it down! KT, an opportunity here.
BDD on the flank still.
Still on the flank. You saw that Gen.G wanted to go in on the turn, but King getting a little bit too low, and they're just gonna have to give that Baron away.
They give
with the steal for themselves.
I mean, like, you could see KT were like, can we get more? And then they're like, we'll be happy with just a bunch of resets because we got Baron buff. That's outer turret in mid, and maybe they could even push for enter. They decide not to. But man, that's another heist successful here. Cuz ends up getting the smite. And KT threatened the fight with his flank from BDD. That's the most important part of this. As you can see, Duro and Chovy are like, I don't know about this. It's too risky. They're not able to deny Cuz's entry. He just walks up and takes it like candy from a baby. And then Gen.G are like, we can't turn. We can't force this fight, even with Flash Cyclone, because BDD is just lurking on the edge. Look at this. Now, there was not a lot of hope on those faces until the smite key was pressed. I mean, BDD is still massive in this game.
He really is. I mean, 4 items. He is very far ahead of Chovy. He's Chovying all over Chovy right now. I mean, it's really the only way to say it. Level 18 with the help of the Rod. And he spent most of the game just side lane.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of just waiting around, and he has taken advantage of that, utilizing Ryze's power.
And you look
getting as strong as possible.
You look at the build of Perfect here as well. It's just safety. He knows he's an equalizer button in this game, and maybe if BDD sets up something big, he could do more than that with the Zhonya's he has, but just knows that he's not the main character in this one. Ducktop inherently safe on this Ezreal. Elder in 2 minutes time, if they could just deal with the pressure here. There's not a lot of great poke in Gen.G's comp, to be honest, to proc the Hextech Soul. They have to kind of hard engage to get it, or get a, you know, W up from Ruler or something like that, like this. But otherwise, you know, the objective is controlled here right now by KT. They're going to have to hold on to that for 90 seconds here before they can actually start it up. But Hextech Soul, not a big threat if you can't use it to threaten constantly on objectives like this.
Well, there's the threat as Cuz moves forward. The Temper Fade not going to hit anything, even with the pillar.
They get the subjugate as well, but Cuz going to look to use a Baron empowered recall here to head home and then return. There's plenty of time to step back up on this objective, and KT, they didn't get a ton out of the Baron itself, but buying enough time for just an Elder flip potential in this game. BDD, so large, continues to buy control wards with a lot of that money he has after the Death Cap and Void Staff were completed, because they know this is the last fight of the game. If they win this fight, even against Hextech Soul, they can clean up those health bars and win the game. It's about that smite, and Cuz, he likes his chances this game with the 2 big objectives he's already taken. Sure, wasn't able to stop the Hextech Soul from going over, but otherwise the Otacon and that Baron were his. They have Prio with the last of that Baron, quick resets to come through. This game's suddenly way too close to comfort for Gen.G. They've been up this 2,000 gold for so long.
Yeah.
KT have kept it so even, and this massive rise is ready to machine gun. This is going to be the penultimate moment in this first game of the series.
I just wonder how BDD ever really gets in range if they continue. I feel like Gen.G have realized this, and they've just always kept KT at range and never overcommitted. And with the Hextech Soul,
Cannon on the flank.
Yeah, I say that. Here comes Cannon. The Temper Fade already utilized, and now they can't use it on the defense. Peter is just dead. And the damage has been done. The Equalizer does basically nothing, only hits the clone. And the Elder is live.
All right, this is where we're going to have to see some fancy movement from Cuz. Still no flash back up. He's going to have to walk his way in again.
Oh, they have control of Banana Rush. They're just going to turn here. Perfect is dead. After the Zonias, of course, as down he will go. Duro takes that money to the bank.
Knockdown's poke starting to stack up here, but it's not alone enough. BDD's going to have to come for the flank.
He's just going to have to send it, I think. They can't lose the Elder, but now the turn coming in. But look at the damage. Duro is down.
It's
already. Toby nearly going to go down low, but the shockwave BDD had to just run at them, and they kited it out perfectly. As BDD goes down, they don't quite have the damage. Ruler is hunting. And, well, Cuz he's going to try to get out of here, but he gets Elder down instead. And Gen.G, they were walking a tightrope this entire game. Finally, they broke it open.
Until Chovy slammed his fingers closed in a tight fist with a shockwave that kills BDD. Takes him out of that fight. He was so close to saving this game. He spent a lot of time inside. He was waiting, biding his time for that one big moment. But Chovy said no. Gen.G say no. And they will win this game that felt like they won long ago. KT made it close. Cuz and BDD made it close, but it's not enough in the end.
That's definitely not, as Peter once again going to go down. Unfortunately, not the bar performance I was hoping for from this player. He'll have to go back to the practice room for that one, as Gen.G will take game number 1. And it took quite a while. Props to KT for making it interesting, because the second I said, is this just going to be just like series number 1? Immediately KT took a fight on the Otacon.